Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. And today I wanted to talk a little bit about something which some of you might not like me to talk about, and that's smoking. I have many friends who used to smoke, and I can tell you as a cardiovascular surgeon, I had many patients who came to me who smoked. And I will also tell you that I did my utmost, because I cared about them a lot, to get them to quit, and 90% of them did. So let's talk a little bit about that. Smoking is all the rage. And the bottom line is that in the industrialized countries like the West, smoking has gone down dramatically in males, but has actually increased initially in women, females, and now it's gone down again. But with that, what you see is a 20-year lag as to when you see lung cancer. And we just spoke about lung cancer in a different video with a great interview with a pulmonologist. But I thought I would follow up on that with this video, because I started thinking about this and asking my people whether they smoked or not. And both in my company as well as in my team and my crew, there were people who smoked. And so then I asked, why did they smoke? Was it because of peer pressure? Was it because it was cool? Was it because it tasted good? Was it to keep their weight down? What was the reason they smoked? So based on that, I said, look, why don't we educate people as to what exactly it does, how it works, and then how you go, what the price is you pay for it. And I'm not talking about the tax you pay on it. I'm talking instead about what price you pay in living in terms of lifespan and lifestyle. And then finally, how do we get you to quit? And how do we help you walk that journey? So let's start. Smoking is not a new age habit. It's been there for many, many years. And the data suggests that if you smoke before the age of 21, the likelihood of you smoking for a lifetime is much higher than if you acquire the habit after 21. And what they found is that peer pressure often is one of the main instigators for causing people to want to smoke. And that happens nowadays in the non-industrialized countries at the level of the schools and colleges and whatnot. At the same time, in many workplaces, it used to be all the fad. What has been found is as countries catch on to the deleterious or bad effects of smoking, they start putting public health campaigns in appropriately to try to wipe it out. And this happened in the West long ago, where the peak of smokers was in the 60s and the 70s, and then went down precipitously to about the 80s, when it was actually the high, and then came down. By the year 1990 and 2000s, we started to see a reflection in the lung cancer statistics, and then subsequently things started to come down. Well, in India, it's quite the opposite in that people are still smoking here. But the issue is that more and more women are starting to smoke. More and more youngsters are starting to smoke, whereas some of the older men are stopping smoking. The other thing which I found interesting when I looked at this here, that while 40 to 50% of the men had smoked, typically it wasn't a regular cigarette. 92% of them were smoking hand-rolled or bidis. And this resulted in catastrophic effects. So what can it do? Smoking has 2,000 breakdown products when you burn that cigarette, in addition to nicotine, which is a centrally acting receptor binder on the nicotinic receptors, and basically a stimulant. It can also act to reduce your appetite and to cause other effects. The more worrisome part about it is addictive. And that's something the tobacco companies early on hid. And later we found that that was definitely the case. So in some ways it's a drug which is addictive, and one which is readily available. What can happen with the smoking part of it, where you actually light up and whatnot, is it can cause severe damage to the lungs. It can cause your cells to mutate, and it can increase the risk of lung cancer by 4-fold versus the baseline. And that's not a small number, because lung cancer is the #1 cancer worldwide in terms of death toll. But in addition to that, it can also cause cancers of the oropharyngeal or mouth or esophageal regions. It can increase the risk of cancers in the pancreas as well as the stomach. And it can also lead to heart disease and accelerate plaques in your vascular system, as well as causing significant issues with strokes and other cardiovascular disorders. So all in all, it's a bad actor, and it's one that's actually preventable. Now, the real question for you is, why should I smoke when I can quit? What do you gain from quitting? Well, on average, if someone smokes a pack a day, they will reduce their lifespan by 10 years. Now, many smokers might say to me, well, Dr. Nene, that I live a better life with smoking. I can guarantee you when you're 50 or 60 and someone's working on your lung cancer, or you have emphysema, or you have heart disease, you aren't going to be saying the same things. But more than that, I can also guarantee you that the secondhand smoke you produce and potentially cause your loved ones to get a lung cancer who never wanted to smoke is really something you will never, ever forgive yourself for. So I would say, look, all of that's dire, but the truth is you can actually quit. I'll tell you, 50% of my patients when they came to me smoked, and it certainly had a hand in their cardiovascular disease. I was very confident that in 90% of them we can get them to quit. How did we do that? Simple. You had them do two major things, and the studies backed this up. One was to stop the physical addiction to smoking. And we would prescribe different types of medications like varenicline, which is a centrally acting nicotine blocker, and also Wellbutrin, which is an antidepressant, but actually has a side effect of reducing the urges. And that would actually reduce the compulsion or need to have a cigarette physically. So it would stop the physical dependence on nicotine. There are other ways to do that as well. But in addition to just these medications and other things that you take, it's critical that you get psychological counseling. And the way we would do that would be support groups, which would teach you how to deal with the stressors and develop coping skills, in addition to kind of coaching you on where to be and where not to be, and where you typically smoked. A lot of people would say to me, hey doc, I would only smoke after I had a few drinks. Or they would tell me that I would smoke when I would go out with my pals after work, or when I was in a club, or when I was bored at nighttime and all the finger habits and everything else would come. And I mean, let's call it what it is. It's a tough one. There's nothing that is easy about it. But the truth is, you gain so much in terms of lifestyle and lifespan. And I'll tell you, the patients who were successful in quitting, which was almost all of them, and all of them passed a year. That's usually pretty good evidence that they're going to stop forever. They would come back to me and they'd say, hey doc, I can actually taste my food. I can actually smell the air. I can actually walk and not be short of breath. And that for me was satisfaction enough. And so what I say to all of you guys is, when are you going to quit? And how can we help you? Tell me what questions you have, and I'm more than happy to help you. Do you think that telling your friends and family to quit is the right move? If you do, tell me in the comments below. And then let's join hands together to stop something which, in my opinion, just is not worth it at all, and which I think will lead to many, many more people suffering and potentially dying. And more than anything, I consider you guys my friends and family too. And as I practiced as a physician, my motto was to say that above all else, do no harm, but more than that, treat patients like their family. And that's why I'm giving you this one, not because I want to impugn you or make you feel bad, hardly that. For those of you who are addicted to smoking, please, 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 please take the time to watch this video 2 or 3 times, share it with your loved ones, and then immediately go to your doctor and ask them, how can I quit? Or go online, because there's many good sites now which will help you with that. And we'll put some of these in the comments below. But the bottom line is, please do yourself a favor. And more than that, you'll make yourself happier than anyone, but you'll make your family even happier still. Thanks. As always, if you like what we're saying, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon so you can get our updates. And we'll see you here next time. Thanks.